podcast.
The greatest podcast you're ever going to listen to.
That's the name of it. We're gonna. We don't have a name for this podcast yet, but that's okay because we're gonna solve that here in a minute. We're gonna come up with some names, but essentially the point of this podcast is every week, me, Jared, and my friend
Michael.
We're gonna run a couple of ideas by you guys. Some ideas from the past, and they're not good ideas. They're
things that actually happened, which is sad.
They're pretty bad ideas, and we're gonna tell the story of that idea, how it came about, and then we are gonna, most importantly, we're gonna fix those problems.
That's what we do
here. Here at insert podcast name here.
Yeah, we don't have a name yet. I mean, we're starting a podcast before we get the name. We're fucking geniuses.
Yeah, this is how it's done. I think is people just hit record on Skype.
No one actually thinks about what they're gonna say or do. They just do it. This is why we have our own ideas ready to go.
Wow. So let's go ahead and name this podcast, which I'm just realizing that this is less fun for anybody listening because they have to click on the name of the podcast to even have gotten to this point.
Oh no, you're right.
But that's okay. They can think about why the names we aren't going to choose were better.
That's right. Or they'll criticize us for not picking the names that we suggested but didn't make it. We'll see.
Definitely. We already have haters. God.
What do you got? All
right. Well, we're going to start off with the pure basics. We realized we couldn't use the name "The Worst Ideas Ever" because there is another podcast called "The Worst Ideas of All Time," so we couldn't do that. So my first one is "The Bad Ideas." What you think? We got a winner, right?
Okay. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna pass on that one.
It was a little cold, but respectable.
I got the best worst ideas. That rolls off the tongue a little better.
The best worst ideas. All right. Are we thinking like a slash in there, or like a dash, like a slash or a dash in between best and worst?
A dash.
A dash. Just a little dash.
Just the best worst idea. They're so bad that they're good because they give us entertainment.
That's a good point. All right.
What else
you got? We'll table that one. We'll table the best worst ideas. All right. So I'm going to say my best idea for last. I've got 3 here. So my second idea was called brainless.
Oh, I like that.
Just like the people that came up with these have no brain. They are less than brainless.
I can't argue with that. Looking at my topic list here, there's got to be some brains missing to have these things come to fruition.
Definitely.
I think that one's a probably.
That one's nice and short, nice and simple. Makes it easy to find. I think. Hopefully, I did not Google if that podcast exists already. So, we'll have to wait and see.
We're doing it better. Honestly.
We'll figure that out, but we'll table that one. So
okay, here's another one I got. All right, it's gonna sound a little familiar, but
okay,
here it goes. J&M's Believe It or Nah. Not believe it or not, or nah.
Because clearly the copyright infringement is in the back of our heads that if we say not, then we're fucked. Then we've got Ripley himself, who's only got the greatest lawyers I can assume, coming after us. Him and his whole museum of freak shows. So okay, so J&M's Believe It or Nah.
Yeah, because Jared and Michael, that's who we are. That's what we're doing.
That's us. We're just 2 guys.
All right. Do you have another one or no?
I do. Do you have another?
I do, and I think it's my personal pick for if we had to name it right now and there was no other options. So you go ahead and give yours, and I'll.
Okay. So currently, running it back, we've got brainless is probably at the top.
Yep.
And then I think probably best worst ideas would be second currently.
Yeah.
For me.
I like that. Yep.
Okay. So my third idea for a name of the podcast is I've got a bad feeling about this.
Podcast. That might not be a good enough name, but that could definitely be like a catchphrase.
We should get a soundboard of "I've got a bad feeling about this."
Because that could definitely run before every single one of these ideas.
Yes.
But, probably not name material, but
yeah. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like definitely leaning out of my ideas. I think Brainless is my top pick for what I came up with. It's definitely better than the bad ideas because that was a bad idea in itself. So I'm so sorry.
I got this last one. I think either between Brainless or this one that I'm about to tell you because I really like this one.
Okay.
I think you will too. But it's called Jared and Mike's No Good, Very Bad Podcast. And that's also going to sound familiar, but I really like that name because it gives us a bigger umbrella to talk about stuff on our podcast instead of just ideas that were terrible, you know?
Okay. No
good, very bad podcast.
Very bad podcast.
No good, very bad podcast.
So an abbreviation would be NGVBP. That's not bad.
We could leave the P out of it if we wanted to, but I mean, I don't know. I really like that one.
I like it too. I don't know if we need our names in front of it though.
Okay, the
No Good, Very Bad.
I like it. The No Good, Very Bad Podcast. Or Brainless. Honestly, they're both
That's
great.
tough. Okay.
Maybe we need to do a coin flip, or are you leaning one way?
I'm really not leaning, and I am perfectly straight up. Let's wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let's sit on it for a minute.
I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe by the end, one of us will be like, yeah, let's go with that one.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
And if not, we'll save it for the next podcast. Screw
it.
And
this conversation sucks for anyone listening because we already named it. And our future selves have figured this out.
Welcome,
so
audience.
We don't need to do this right now. We can just move on. We're 7 minutes in. Let's get to...
Let's start with
Let's get to the meat and potatoes here.
My topic. Are you ready for this?
I am so ready.
All right.
Let's do this.
You like candy, right, Jared?
I enjoy the occasional munch of candy.
Okay, what if I told you this candy could help you lose weight?
I would say that that's real bad candy.
It's called Ayds. AYDS. It's an suppressant candy that enjoyed strong sales in the 1970s and early 1980s.
Well, I figured it out. I know what went wrong.
There was claims that the product could help you lose up to 10 pounds in 5 days without dieting or exercising. It was available in chocolate, chocolate mint, butterscotch, caramel, and later a peanut butter flavor was added. I'm gonna send you, Jared, a picture of this candy.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Hit me with it because I'm still absorbing the fact that there was a candy called Ayds. But
describe that for the listeners so they can see what it is.
Opening this up. All right, so it's clearly like 70s packaging. Even it's got like a 60s vibe to it. It says "Life" in the corner. I don't even know if that's what it says, but it says Ayds, AYDS. Reducing plant, vitamin, and mineral candy. It's yellow, and then on the other side, it looks like we've got. It looks like they're little like cubes of some sort, pretty small. Vitamin and mineral candy, 24 ounces, 1.5 pounds. How much candy?
It looks delicious, and it helps you lose weight. But by the mid-1980s, public awareness of the disease Ayds, not the candy Ayds, but the disease Ayds actually caused the brand's problem because of the phonetic similarity of the names and the fact that the disease also caused you to lose weight. And not just the candy.
Oof. Yeah. So like in the 70s, this was probably killer. This was just like, oh my God, we're selling Ayds left and right. You get some Ayds, you get some Ayds. Everybody's aided out.
Times Magazine even had a story about the Ayds candy.
Time magazine.
It was crazy.
Man.
Celebrities were endorsing it. Everybody was on board with AIDS.
Everyone was HIV positive that it was a good idea. They were just, man, oh. And then it's really unfortunate that, the 80s happened. And
it brought the actual AIDS epidemic. And, it did hurt sales. Sales dropped by 50%. So they had to change the name. What do you think they changed it to?
All right, here's where we come in. I think is we're going to solve this. No. I think this might be the problem.
They tried
to
solve it. They tried to solve it with Diet AIDS. They called it Diet AIDS, and it was removed from market. That's the story of AIDS.
No.
Diet candy.
Oh.
They tried Diet AIDS, didn't work. So now we need to fix this abomination, Jared.
Diet. Man, yeah, that's a rough one, because someone in a boardroom at some point said, you know what, we can't call our candy AIDS anymore because it's a disease. Yeah. And someone else said, why not Diet AIDS?
Then it sold. Because it's a diet aid, but also it's still AIDS, and that's a bad thing.
Okay.
I'm thinking a name change is appropriate.
I think a name change for sure. Maybe
they wanted to keep the AIDS because it was like sort of a known name by that point. So they're like, we can't get rid of it, otherwise people won't know what our product is anymore. But you gotta. At this point, you have to.
All right. So I have an idea here.
I'm listening.
I have an idea. So what if I told you that the name AIDS is completely fine?
What?
So,
stick
with me for a second.
All right.
AIDS sells great in the 70s, right? They have a huge market of fat people that they're selling their candy to. They're losing weight. It's great. That rhymed.
Ooh.
They get to the 80s. AIDS epidemic hits. You have a bunch of people with AIDS. Here's where the shift happens. They're gonna sell their candy no longer to fat people, but to the growing market of people with AIDS.
But Jared, the candy already helps you lose weight. You're gonna kill these people that have AIDS with AIDS.
That's where a recipe change comes in.
Oh, a recipe.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna change this candy to instead make you gain weight. And, so looking at the packaging here, it's going to be the AIDS increasing plan, vitamin and mineral candy. That's actual candy this time.
Make more AIDS. I like your fix. It actually works.
I think
fixed it.
But a name change. I mean, clearly, if they wanted to stick with the weight loss angle, I respect that. They've already got the candy made, I'm sure.
It looks delicious.
So yeah, what could be a name? What's a name then for a weight loss candy?
I don't know. Lose it all? I don't know.
Lose it all. That's not bad.
Lose it all. Yeah, that's like a vitamin name. It sounds like lose it all, but it's just lose it all.
Lose
there
it
you
all.
go.
That
cured it.
I
cured the AIDS problem.
You've done it. You've fixed AIDS.
Yes, I did.
Huh. I'm wondering if I'm trying to think here if we've got another name we're not thinking of. So I'm trying to think of like weight.
Diet lose it all. If we have to go for
Diet lose it all. Yes. Diet lose it all. No, I think that's good. That's a good name change. So
you're welcome.
We've got our two fixes. We've got just, changing the name. We got lose it all or diet lose it all, or your growing market of people inflicted with a life-threatening and incredibly horrible disease.
Very bad disease, by the way.
Get them some candy, man. They deserve it more than any of us. I think.
Mineral candy. Give them some of them vitamins back.
Get them what they're missing.
You're still hitting the market. Boom,
man. Wow. What a product, man. That's
AIDS candy.
You came out swinging.
Yeah,
I was
so excited when I started doing research on that. That was a dinger.
Yeah, so AIDS is gone from the market, huh? No longer available.
Can't buy AIDS. Can't buy the candy AIDS. Can't buy diet AIDS either. If you like that.
Yeah, give me a minute here. I'm gonna search it on eBay. Just gotta know.
Gotta get some weird ones.
Yeah, nothing coming up. We've got some pictures of the ad from the 50s that says the 1954 AIDS candy ad with movie star Tyrone Power and family in the Bahamas.
Yeah, I was gonna include all the celebrities, but didn't know a single one. Didn't recognize.
Ads were brutal back then. This so it's a picture of like, hot movie star with hot family, and the title of this article says, "Why be fat?" says Mrs. Tyrone Power. "I lose weight without any trouble."
Oh
man,
gosh, with AIDS or
with
diet AIDS.
Jeez.
Oh man, honestly, can't blame him for the diet AIDS part because it is a diet aid. But,
right. No, the name totally makes sense. It was just, that filthy disease had to come in and not only ruin people's lives, but ruin the AIDS market.
Right.
Man. Oh, we got another one. What is that title even mean? I found another ad for AIDS. The title of the article is "The Fat Dress." What does that even mean? Not a miracle. Oh God, their tagline. Did you see their tagline? Have you seen this?
No, I have not. Oh, have you seen this? I have not.
Have you seen this? So it says, "AIDS, we want you to win."
What? We want you. Just do it. Just do AIDS.
It's better than that's a better look than if back then they had done "We're thinking positive" or something like that.
That's a little too on the nose as well.
Wow,
they're already treading the line, if you ask me.
Good stuff.
Man.
All right. Well, we got a first idea in the books. Now we're on to our other idea, which is from me. Correct? We don't checking. Nope, there's no ads.
Nope, no ads. Raids canceled at the last minute. Raids Shadow Legends.
Typical. Well, I'll give him a call. I'll sleep on my Casper mattress while I eat my Blue Apron and Nintendo,
give us free stuff.
Give us free stuff. All right. So, are you ready for my idea?
I can't wait.
All right. So, let's go back in time a little bit.
Ooh, okay.
So we're going back to the year 1911.
Holy crap. There was bad ideas back then?
Let me tell you, man, there's some bad ideas.
All right.
So this idea is going to center around jumping off of stuff. You always want to jump off of stuff, right?
I mean, I plank on stuff occasionally, but jumping off stuff, that's crazy.
Have you ever gotten this feeling where you're standing on something super high, looking at a canyon, or you're on a balcony or something like a few stories up, and suddenly for no reason you get the urge, what would it feel like to jump, right?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. I don't know the name though. It's a feeling.
Yeah, it's just a feeling. You're not going to do it, but you're quite curious about it. And turns out people have had that for centuries. As parachutes had been attempted to be invented for hundreds of years. And it kind of coincides with the increase in airplanes and things like that, right? So when airplanes are invented, people are super high up and they say, you know what? How do we get down? So in 1911, we have our first successful test off a individual parachute of a guy, it wasn't actually a guy. They threw a dummy with a parachute off of the Eiffel Tower, and it landed safely.
Okay, all right.
And it was great. And
impressive.
It was pretty good. And the issue though that our hero today realized is that it was something called a throw-out chute, which means that these weren't the parachutes that you could wear on your back. They were made of cloth, so you couldn't really fold them up. So you really had your arms literally full of all the cloth. You jumped, and then you had to throw your own parachute out, which it works. but also like if you're in an airplane or something and you're crashing and you need to eject, not that useful.
That's a tough thing to do while you're panicking.
Yes, right. You can't just like gather your parachute into your arms and throw it yourself. It's gonna go splats.
You're gonna die.
So enter the hero of the day. We have our friend Franz Reichelt, who has history has dubbed him the nickname the Flying Tailor.
Okay.
So Franz Reichelt is from Bohemia, and he moves to Paris, which is the location where that successful test took place at the Eiffel Tower. He moves there in 1909, and he's, as his title suggests, he's a tailor. He's a sewer, and he's really good at what he does. He has a shop like in downtown Paris. He's making big bucks at what he's doing.
Stonks, tailoring these things.
Stonks. 100% stonks.
All these stonks.
But he has a dream. He sees these parachutes and he says these are much too big, much too bulky. And so he says, what if we made some sort of suit that could be worn in order to jump out of a plane?
like a flying squirrel suit?
A little bit.
Okay, I'm on board.
I forgot to prepare a picture here.
Oh no, the podcast is ruined. Everybody go home.
Done is done. Let's go to this. All right. Sending you this picture now.
Okay.
Go ahead and take a look here at our hero.
Oh, that is Franz. You are definitely a flying squirrel. Oh, that mustache though. He's got a nice mustache.
Isn't it great? Isn't it a fantastic stash? Like my boyo's got it going on, man.
This man's ready to fly. Yeah, he's got arms spread. He's got so much cloth. This man is a true tailor. He looks like a freaking flying squirrel, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
He's ready to go.
I sent you another picture there. So that's the first one I sent you for those playing along at home. If you head to Wikipedia and you Google Franz Reichelt or the Flying Tailor, you'll find his Wikipedia page. All the pictures we're looking at here are there, so you can take a look. But the second one shows what the suit looks like that he invents while it's all folded up. And you can see it actually isn't, it's a little bulky, but you can still walk around in it, right? It's still usable.
It's alive.
And so he has this dream of this wearable parachute that like a pilot could wear, and if their plane starts to go down, they can jump and land safely.
This thing looks very uncomfortable to wear while you're flying, but I mean,
it does.
If it means you live, you live.
It's true.
It's
true. So he starts to test variations of his suit. He's doing using dummies for it. Obviously, he doesn't want to hurt himself with the early versions of it, and he's literally just throwing them off the roof of his tailor business. After hours, of course. I'm sure he's making money while he's doing this, but do
this.
Almost all of the tests that he did with the dummies were failures. Sorry, needed a little parchment. So almost all of those failed. So he realizes he needs a little more funding. So he writes to an aviation organization, which are pretty new at this point because airplanes haven't been around for a while. It's called Aero Club de France, and he asks for assistance. And they send him back a letter essentially saying no, but a quote from this response. This is a real quote translated. It says, "The surface of your design is too weak. You will break your neck." And that's from Aero Club de France to Franz Reichelt in 1910.
It doesn't break my neck. It breaks the dummy's neck. Thank you very much.
Precisely. So he's not deterred.
From a picture? That's actually kind of impressive.
What's that?
Oh, the design. They told him that it was going to kill him just from the design.
Yes.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. So he's not deterred, and he starts to think that the reason that the dummies are failing is because you need a human person inside the suit in order to open it up to get enough surface area to land. So Franz decides it's time for him to step into his own suit, and he jumps out of the window of his tailor shop wearing his suit 26 feet above the ground. He breaks his leg.
I thought he was gonna break his neck.
Nope, he just his leg.
All right, that's
So
progress.
a little bit of progress, right? You know, he landed 26 feet, broke his leg, he lived. But despite the fact that many would call that a failure, he insists that the reason that this jump didn't work, that he broke his leg on a 26-foot fall, is because he wasn't falling from high enough.
I mean, you got to go bigger, better, faster, just to prove that it works. I mean,
right? He said there wasn't enough air as he was falling to fill up the chute in order to kind of stop him from falling.
Makes sense to me.
And so this is where our boy is about to throw a fucking Hail Mary.
Let's go, Franz.
He's gonna jump off the Eiffel Tower.
Oh man, he's the Chris Angel.
He is.
Chris Angel.
He's kind of like the Chris Angel. You know, they had that successful dummy test, you know, a couple years before, and he thought, you know, now it's my turn to make my mark here. So it's February of 1912, and he tells the city of Paris that he wants to test his chute on the Eiffel Tower. They say no, but he says, it's okay. I'm going to use a dummy for the first run. And they say, you know what, that's okay. That's not a big deal, I guess. You can try it with a dummy. Just don't jump yourself because we don't want you to get hurt. He had no intention of doing that.
I knew it. Franz is an OG. He wouldn't do that dummy shit. He'd just go in and do it. Freaking YOLO, Franz. You nailed it. And he lived, right? Guys, he did a good job. Please tell me.
1912, it's February 4th. It is a freezing Sunday morning. Temperatures below the freezing point. People are crowding around as they watch as Franz arrives fully in his own suit, not carrying a dummy, quite clearly, and he starts heading up the Eiffel Tower, and no one stops him. His friends attempt to stop him, you know, talk him out of it, but he's not dissuaded. No one from the city stops him, despite the fact it's clear he doesn't have a dummy with him.
Hold out when he gets to the top. Let him go. Let him go.
Yes, and a few reporters had finally gathered on the ground because, you know, Boyo's about to jump, and they're gathering on the ground, and they are going to watch him. And luckily for us, a video crew arrived.
A video?
Oh, yes. This was caught on film from two different angles. All right. So I sent you this YouTube video. You can open it up for me. We'll watch it together here, and you can describe for me what happens. You can mute the sound. There's nothing to hear.
Okay.
We got a minute 35 here. For those playing along at home, the title of our video is Franz Reichhelt's Death Jump off of the Eiffel Tower.
No.
1912.
All right, I'm ready if you are.
All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1, play. Go ahead and describe for me what we're looking at here.
Right, got Franz here. He's showing off the suit he's got going. It actually looks way better than I thought. You could definitely wear this thing in the airplane. It looks comfy even.
Yeah, it's like a puffy jacket, right? He's like it looks like this is like a denied Mario suit. Like
it's that mustache, man. He's
mustache.
Oh my god! All right, it looks like he's expanding. He's got a tent on his back now. Is what it looks like. He's shaking it around, letting it unfurl, getting those squirrel wings out there.
I love that. I love that to get over the edge of the railing of the Eiffel Tower here. They had a table, and then that wasn't tall enough still, so they put a chair. So it's a chair on top of a table.
No step ladder. We need tables and chairs because we out here. Oh man, he's looking down.
Yes.
He looks so intimidated, but he's not gonna not do it.
Out of intimidation here.
It's like a third Their little jolt. Come on, you can do it, Franz. Yeah, it looks cold. I can see his breath.
All right, Franz.
Oh, he went. Oh no! Oh my god! He hit the ground like a rock. Oh no!
Oh man, they're carrying him off, and then I love this ending part. They're measuring how big of a divot he made in the ground.
My gosh!
This man's got a ruler, and he's measuring how big of an impact this man made as he died.
As he was falling, just any minute, I was just waiting for him to take off or like fall slower, but no. His makeshift suit was just furling in the air as it would.
Just plummets.
Oh my gosh!
And that's the death of our friend here, Franz Reichelt.
He was just too early for his time.
He was, man. I mean, thinking about it, it's almost like the early wingsuit, right?
Yep.
Unsuccessful.
He's a pioneer.
But now we've got the task of fixing this one. What could Franz have done differently?
I don't know. Actually use a dummy. I mean, you got more air up there now. You should be able to see what happens when you have that much weight and that much air without having to jump yourself.
Yeah, right. You know, he probably could have used a dummy. My
drivers too.
I mean, my opinion, I can't tell in the video if he did this or not, but he should have flapped a little bit.
Yeah, move his arms.
I mean, looking at the video, I don't think he flapped. Not even once. Honestly, not even a little flap.
He didn't try.
He was not trying to take off. I mean, I get that you're trying to just slow your fall, but why not just try and sail away, you know?
Impress the audience. Do something no one's ever done before besides falling from a high place and dying while trying to fly.
Man, our poor Taylor here.
He could have done it. That could have been a good ending if he would have just used a darn dummy.
I know, right? That could have been like a good test run. He could have came back again on a day that wasn't below freezing. You know, So I mean,
and something at the bottom in case things don't go well.
Yeah,
that would have been a good idea.
Like a slide would have been cool if he had just slid out of that.
I mean, you don't need to go, all right, I want to test this out. Either I die or it works. That's all I got. No, you need... This guy was not smart in the ways that mattered.
No. Also, another thought here. I mean, this kind of goes along with the flapping, where I don't know if he tried to do this, but it doesn't look like he even tried to tuck and roll.
Yeah.
And I got a problem with that. Like, everyone has watched parkour videos. When someone jumps off something high, they land, but then they like go into a crouch and then they roll forward. And he did not even try.
Too much faith in the suit. I don't know if I couldn't even tell because it was just so happening so fast. But was he falling straight down, or was he like on an angle on his side with the suit like trying to pull him? I don't know what was going on there, but his execution was bad. If you ask me.
Right. I think his execution was bad. I think I remember reading that something along the lines of you can see at the beginning of his fall he gets tangled in it a little bit, and so he kind of falls how he didn't want to, which sucks because dead.
The illness of death. Oh,
yeah,
man. Poor guy. He believed in himself.
I think that's what matters. I think that's what matters is that he really thought he had this one.
He's like,
considering he'd broken his leg with this same design not too long before, and had never had a successful test even with dummies. A lot of confidence in that boyo. Proud of him.
Let's give a nice little clap for Franz. Good job, Kai. You did it.
Super proud.
Florida.
All right.
All right.
Hey, well, I think that's gonna do it here for this first episode of the podcast.
Yeah, we talked about Ayds diet candy and the first jumpsuit, which didn't go so well.
Yeah, we talked about Ayds and a guy jumped off a building. This is about how I expected this to go.
Yeah, we got more topics for you in future episodes, so
yeah, we're
keep an eye out for them.
We're excited. I'll try and continue to do more histories stuff, but I might expand into some other areas as well. I've seen a couple topics that interest me, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for more terrible bad ideas.
It's something, man. I tell you what. All right, so that brings us back to we got to name this. We got to name this shindig.
Oh man.
This weekly entrepreneur into the awfulness of idea world.
The human mind. When
the
it
human
wants
mind.
To come up with something.
Man.
Like a podcast name.
Like a podcast name. That's the hardest thing.
We are the podcast.
So what were our options? Were no good, very bad podcast, or brainless?
Brainless, yes.
You know what? For Google's sake, I'm going to make sure that brainless isn't taken.
I was going to say, I'm fine with conceding to your idea, honestly.
All right, so I did find a podcast called Brainless. Their last episode was in 2018, and it's it looks like it's some sort of like oh, okay. Maybe we don't want to be associated with this podcast. All right, let me read you this about for the Brainless podcast. Hi, everyone. My name is Katrina, and I love black men. This podcast is another way for me to interact with my fans. I am the opposite of a feminist. I love to be degraded and treated like the bimbo I am. Rate me on iTunes.
Rate me on iTunes? Interesting, because I checked up my podcast name, and there's also one that's pretty close. The No Good, Very Bad Gay Podcast.
God, all right, we're... Man, all right. Well,
I
mean, Brainless's last episode was... Oh, there's another Brainless podcast. This one's from last year. Oh, the other one was 2 years ago. This Brainless podcast is from last year, but they haven't uploaded an episode since July of 2019.
Oh.
Man, people are watching this live.
Really? They're
watching us debate crappy names live. Yeah, this other Brainless podcast that's coming up a lot hasn't had a episode since 2018.
That's fair. This badgaypod.com, check it out. Last podcast was October 9th, 2019, so that's pretty recent. Don't want to step on any toes.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, with Brainless, we're competing with two other podcasts that don't exist anymore.
That's a no-brainer, if you ask me, Jared.
Ooh. Is no-brainer taken?
Oh my gosh. I'm going to check. There's no way it's not taken.
It's a no-brainer as a podcast.
There's a no-brainer radio? Oh wait, no, that's just...
Oh, this is from 2013, and it's called It's a No-Brainer. What if we're just no-brainer?
I like no-brainer, honestly.
So everyone that's listening to this episode right now listens to the beginning, and they're like, what the fuck? What?
Terrible names.
All right, let's do no-brainer.
They're gonna wonder why.
Are we cool with no-brainer
names? I'm good. I like it. No-brainer. The no-brainer podcast.
All right, so I'm gonna officially call it no-brainer. I'm gonna make a Gmail account. So if you want to contact us here at the No Brainer Podcast, we'll be sure to get back to you. Considering we won't have very many listeners, but that's cool. We will contact you if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have suggestions, if you
any stories you might have that you want to see us report on.
Totally.
Send them to us.
Totally.
We'll have Gmail in the description somewhere of wherever you're listening.
Yeah,
to this,
it'll be something along the lines of like No Brainer Podcast. Actually, I'm assuming this is going to be available. No Brainer Podcast at gmail.com. And if it's not available, it'll be different in the description. We'll fix it in episode 2.
Either way, this has been the No Brainer Podcast.
I'm Jared.
I'm Mike.
We'll catch you next time
for some more bad ideas.
You brainless people. Our followers are going to be called the brainless.
That's a great one. They'll love being called that.
You brainless. No.
Okay, we're done. Bye.
Dumb.